5G, the fifth generation mobile network, has been in use for quite some time now. There are enough people waiting for the technology to be deployed, just as there are enough people protesting against it. And if you've been wondering which side to be on, this video might be of some help. I'm going to tell you how 5G is different from the other generations, which are the biggest concerns regarding 5G, and if we should really be wary of the technology. If with 3G we could download a film in 26 hours, 4G could do it in 6 minutes, and with 5G we'll be able to download it in just 3.5 seconds. That's how fast 5G is going to be. But the technology has triggered a lot of debates concerning possible damages to our health, environment, and further invasion of our privacy. So this is the electromagnetic spectrum. To the left are low frequency radiations with huge coverage, and to the right the frequency gets higher with shorter coverage. So all radiations up to visible light are non-ionizing radiations. Everything to the right of visible light are ionizing radiations. Ionizing radiations are known to cause serious health issues in people because these radiations have so much energy in them that it can disrupt our DNA by removing an electron from an atom. Basically, it can disrupt our cell structure. But cell phones have been using non-ionizing radiations, and non-ionizing radiations do not have sufficient energy to do this. But over a period of time, for a really long time, if our body is exposed to non-ionizing radiations, then it can lead to heating issues which could damage our body tissues. And it is this heating issue which people are really concerned about with respect to 5G technology. All this while, cell phone companies have been using low to mid-range frequencies. 4G has always operated within low and mid-range frequencies. But with 5G, in order to provide us with super high speeds, it will be using really high frequency, that is millimeter waves. High band 5G will provide you with a speed of anywhere between 1 to 3 gigabytes per second. But it will have a very limited coverage, say up to a radius of 1 mile. So basically you need to be physically very close to the tower to get the signal. And another thing is, anything that comes in between you and the tower will block the signal. It could be anything, it could be trees, it could be buildings, it could even be rain. So as long as the tower is clearly visible to you, your signal will be strong. In the video by Marcus Brownie, you will see when he stands right in front of the tower, he gets insane speed. But the moment he walks to the corner of a building which is only 75 feet away from the tower, he starts losing the speed. Now there is only one way of solving this problem, that is by building towers at every few feet. Now imagine your city slowly getting flooded with these towers. So every time you step out of your house, you'll be exposed to high frequency radiations from different towers as you keep walking. And that's very concerning because that's never happened to us before. We've never been exposed to such high frequency radiation wherever we go because there's going to be towers everywhere. In 2010, an expert committee had prepared a report that clearly states how mobile towers have been affecting wildlife, especially birds and bees. And they've also listed several do's and don'ts for state local bodies to follow. And it was published in 2010 when 4G had just been deployed in India. Now 10 years later, 2 mobile generations later, imagine the amount of risk that must have increased with 5G. So it's not entirely wrong for people to be concerned about 5G because there aren't many studies done on long-term impacts of these high frequencies on humans or animals or environment. Even WHO confirms that there are not many studies done on the long-term exposure to high frequencies on our tissues. Now people are not only concerned about radiation coming from the towers, they're also concerned about radiation coming from their phones. Because every time we will hold our 5G phones next to our ears, our ear and our skin close to the ear will be exposed to high frequency radiation. And we really need to understand if the high frequency radiation that will lead to heating issues will or will not have a negative impact on our body tissues. Let's move on to the last concern, privacy. With the arrival of 5G, more devices will run on internet. With more devices accessing internet, more data from our lives will be collected. Also because these devices have very low security features, they can be easily hacked. There is another suspicion that China will be using 5G technology to spy on other countries. Countries like America, Australia, New Zealand and UK believe that China has asked Huawei to do all the spying, which is why these countries have actually banned Huawei from doing any kind of business in their country. The regional government of Brussels has halted 5G deployment in order to safeguard the lives of its citizens. They said they will roll out 5G once they're very sure it does not have a negative impact on their lives. All of us need to put pressure on our government to conduct a proper study on the long-term effects of these high-frequency radiations on humans, wildlife and environment. You can write to the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change, the Health Ministry, your Chief Minister and your Prime Minister. Until we get an assurance from a credible source, let's just not get lured by the great speed of 5G. That's it for today. I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.